Zhu Gang. Born in Shanghai in 1945, Zhu Gang was drafted into the army at the age of 17, and he wrote his first poetry in support of the goals of the Cultural Revolution. After graduating from Beijing University in 1974, he worked for the People's Daily newspaper for over a decade, becoming known for reporting on China's ecological crisis. He participated in the democracy movement in 1989 and currently lives in Paris. Gang has published and been given prizes for a number of volumes of poetry. Red Azalea on the Cliff by Zhu Gang, translated by Fang Dai, Dennis Ding, and Edward Morin. Red Azalea, smiling, from the cliffside at me, you make my heart shudder with fear. A body could smash and bones splinter in the canyon. Beauty, always looking on at disaster. But red azalea on the cliff, that you comb your twigs even in a mountain gale, calms me down a bit. Of course, you are not willfully courting danger, nor are you at ease with whatever happens to you. You're merely telling me, beauty is nature. Would anyone like to pick a flower, to give to his love, or pin to his own lapel? On the cliff there is no road, and no azalea grows where there is a road. If someone actually reached that azalea, then an azalea would surely bloom in his heart. Red azalea on the cliff, you smile like the yellow mountains, whose sweetness encloses slyness, whose intimacy embraces distance. You remind us all of our first love. Sometimes the past years look just like the azalea on the cliff. Red azalea on the cliff paraphrase. The red azalea on the cliffside scares me because someone could fall and die while attempting to reach it. The fact that you, red azalea, still look your best in the midst of dangerous winds relaxes me. You are not intentionally looking for trouble, but are simply showing off your exquisiteness. People take flowers for themselves or to give to their lover, but no one can pick the azalea because it is on the pathless cliff. Red azalea, you are confusing with your perfection masking sneakiness. You remind me of previous years and make everyone remember their first love. Word meanings. Gale, a very strong wind. Comb, to remove anything undesirable, to sweep across. Rake. Willfully or willful. Deliberate, voluntary, or intentional. Lapel, either of the two parts of a garment folded back on the chest, especially a continuation of a coat collar. Yellow Mountains, a mountain range in southern Anhui province in eastern China. The form. 1. The poem is divided into 4 stanzas. 2. It consists of 11 sentences. 3. It is written in free verse. 4. There are recurring words, such as red azalea on the cliff is said twice. Other times, azalea or red azalea is repeated, and even cliff and cliffside is used. Twice the azalea is said to be smiling. The speaker. The speaker is a person who sees a beautiful red azalea on a cliff that is out of reach but that he desperately wants. The speaker is most likely a male because the poet is, and it seems as though Zhu Gang saw a red azalea and wrote what he was seeing, how it made him feel, and what it made him think about. The theme. The theme is centered on wanting something beautiful and dangerous, something risky that could leave you broken but is so glorious you want it anyway. The speaker, who I will regard as a male, is specifically referring to a red azalea on a cliff. This red azalea can be considered a deceptive beauty. It smiles down from its perch on the cliffside and tempts people to try and reach it when there is no path up the cliff and a canyon beneath it someone could fall into. From afar, he is thinking about how it makes him feel. In the last stanza, he compares it to his first love. His thoughts and descriptions used throughout the poem lead me to believe he is comparing the red azalea to his first love. Lines 22 and 23. Whose sweetness encloses slyness, whose intimacy embraces distance, go well with line 24. You remind us all of our first love, in the way that his description of the azalea sounds more like a description of a lover. This leads me to believe that his first love was sweet and sly, intimate and distant. The idea of the azalea reminding him of his first love came at the end of the poem, but, with that idea in mind, his feelings toward the azalea throughout the entire poem could also be identified with his feelings toward a former lover.